All right, we're recording.
Okay.
Hello, we are Group Presentation 3B, and we're working with Old Spice today. Now, we got Alex Hansley, Joseph Steeden, me, Alejandro Torres, Alex Dalton, and Noah Stanley, who can't be part of the group call at the current moment. But let us get right into it with the brand history. Perfect. Now, Old Spice might be viewed as a recent brand in the current time, especially with their large boom in the past few years. However, they've been around for almost a century. It's been 83 years Old Spice has been a company, making them really Old Spice. Now, the first product released was actually an Old Spice for women. And a year later, it was followed up by Old Spice for men. Now, at the start of Old Spice, there was a large focus around colonial themes rather than the focus on manliness we have today. Now, the colonial theme mainly focused around ships, around nautical themes that were eventually translated to the current themes of today. Even today, they still have the iconic colonial ships on the packaging of Old Spice, even to this day. Now, the shift to masculinity came mainly from competition from Axe. Axe body spray focused on a younger, more male-centric market. So to combat that, Old Spice themselves went to try and dominate the market, rebranding Old Spice from the old nautical theme to make it appeal to a younger audience, using over-the-top and cheeky advertising. Such examples being the use of Terry Crews and the ever-popular Man Book. Old Spice has successfully redefined themselves in a brand new brand image, which stays strong to the current day. Now, let's talk about the creative strategy that Old Spice has. Now, firstly, the main appeals that Old Spice uses is emotional, mainly focusing on recognition and respect. They're trying to have you feel like you're a man who really feels like a man. And mainly from the advertising, it uses a lot of fantasy that, using Old Spice really makes you buff or really makes you, someone that is respected, someone that is wanted and desired. The execution of reaching this appeal is mainly through attractive personality symbols. We used to have Terry Crews, who's seen as the big, muscular man, and the current personality is the attractive Ashaya Amir Mustafa, a former football player and is currently an actor. The purpose of the symbol is to show an attractive fantasy that Old Spice makes you feel like. Makes you feel like you're as buff as Terry Crews. And from the overall tone, to really wrap it all together, is a comical focus, over-the-top situations, and just over-the-top scenarios that really show, manliness through explosions, through horses, through colonial ships and sailing. So really, Old Spice has redefined itself throughout the years and focused on absurd but classy scenarios of manliness. It is an outrageous fuel to the marketing that really appeals to the younger men, usually around from like 18 up to 30. And that is all I have to say about the creative appeal and history of Old Spice.
Hey, so I'm Noah Stamey. Today we're looking at the internal analysis of Old Spice. And so you're looking at things such as strengths and weaknesses of your brand. You want to look at where you're doing things well and where you aren't, so you can capitalize on opportunities and know where you need to market more. The potential opportunity with customers and investors. So you want to branch out, increase your customer base, and gather more investors. And even keep the ones that you have happy so that they'll stay with your brand. And then you need to know about the potential threats within your market. So Old Spice has had success in the past with their brand, and they're a huge name brand. A lot of people know them all across the United States especially, but across the world. And their products are everywhere. They have very loyal customers and a big name, so this helps them with their sales and their marketing. Old Spice has taken advantage of many opportunities with celebrity partnerships in the past and will continue to do so today. They've partnered with Von Miller, who's a football player, and recently there was an actor who they also have a partnership with and has been in several commercials. They've also done things at athletic events where they've sponsored them. Um, so they get their name out there. One is Tough Mudder, which is like an obstacle course type running event. And people with heavily athletic lifestyles, these are the people that are going to be reliant on hygiene products. And getting your name out there at an event such as that will make people want to go buy your products and use them because they're confident that it will keep them smelling good and have positive hygiene. So in terms of threats for the company, they're under Procter and Gamble, and a lot of their competitors are under the same company. But they are a big name in the hygiene market. They don't have too much to worry about. Those who aren't under the same company that are competitors to them, they need to be aware of what's going on. And you want to know their customer base. You want to make sure you're not losing customers to them, and you want to make sure you stay ahead in sales above them. Next, we're going to look at external analysis, which is things such as politics, economics, social factors, technology, and environmental awareness. So economically, Old Spice is up there for the top of the hygiene market. They increase sales basically every year. They do a great job marketing. They stand out. And this increases their customer base's loyalty and even taps into new customers yearly. They have a great connection to technology. They have mainstream commercials. They've done Super Bowl commercials. They have a following on Facebook and Twitter that's pretty nice. And they even take their commercials and put them on their social media and interact with people through either like memes and GIFs of their commercials or just unique responses. With COVID, it's impacted a lot of people's lifestyles. So there's a lot less athletic lifestyles out there. A lot of people are having to sit at home or want to sit at home because they're scared of the virus. So hygiene products are a little bit less in demand, but even though this is true, there's still people at home, like you still have to shower, you still have to use deodorant, lotion, things of that nature. So they shouldn't run into too many problems when looking into these areas. And it can also help them capitalize on marketing in mainstream media and on social media because people will see it a lot more often. They haven't had any legal issues in the past, and I can't see any coming about. So this isn't the biggest factor for Old Spice. For Marcom objectives, you want to have smart objectives. You want them to be timely, and you don't want to overshoot on your percentages or anything like that. You want to stay within what you think you can actually accomplish and set an actual time frame that is achievable for the company. So from a realistic standpoint, we'd like to reach 10% of the market of customers that we haven't been able to tap into by market year end. This includes investors too. This can be a part of the percentages, but we basically want to reach more people and increase our sales through doing so and create more of a loyal customer base. Next, with the importance of environmental health in today's society, we'd like to get rid of plastic because this is a huge factor in pollution and littering, things of that nature. It's terrible for the ocean and even the environment. So our goal is to decrease plastic use by 10% in production per market year for the next 3 years. Very small percentage, we're not overshooting, and we're setting a 3-year period which could accomplish a goal of 30% plastic decrease in our production, and that would be amazing. And there's even the chance to market that on the bottles, and people who are environmentally friendly will like that and hopefully buy Old Spice products. Lastly, we'd like to collect 5% of sales every quarter of this market year and make donations to COVID-19 relief efforts. COVID has completely changed the world and the way it's been running recently. You see it all with the election, and all over the world, people are dealing with COVID. So we want to make sure that we are coming in and we're making donations. We're trying to help with the research and development of COVID, and marketing this would also increase sales because a lot of people are being heavily affected by COVID right now. That's about all I have for this.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Okay, so for the IMC program and element mix, we basically decided to stick with streaming services rather than traditional television because streaming services such as like Hulu or YouTube typically cater to a lower age bracket. And then to further reduce waste coverage, our team decided to place advertisements on online sporting streaming websites, such as BuffStream or Sports Hub. And these sites stream major games for free, with the exception of ads. So we would just be some of these ads that they would have to watch before watching their sports. So 65% of sports streamers are millennial men. And so this falls directly into our target audience. And then next, we would want to start a social media campaign. And this is a critical part of our IMC plan because 33% of Instagram users are ages 25 to 34. And Instagram is such a popular platform with a lot of potential to increase our brand awareness. So a social media campaign would include staying in tune with current trends while posting the product. So we might use something like a specific hashtag, paid promotions by influencers, or links to the products and website, and responding to followers to increase connectivity. And then next, we would want to have a pretty well designed, thought out website with product descriptions, as well as an option to buy products there or find local vendors. Sorry, I'm talking really fast. The website will be just part of the overall collective message that we want to convey to our customers. And then next, we would put samples in gym bathrooms, like maybe the male bathrooms for men, because it can be concluded that people in the gym might get sweaty and need deodorant. And so by placing our deodorant in men's locker rooms, we can specifically target our market. And then we also thought about the idea of cross promotions. So basically pairing coupons with other products our segmented market might buy. For example, we might pair Old Spice deodorant coupons with like protein powder, like Muscle Milk, or maybe men's razors or men's body washes, etc. Okay. So to allocate our budget, I just did the 10% of sales method, just because I couldn't find that much information on Old Spice's budget allocation in real life for marketing, but I'm sure it's actually more than this in real life. But just for the purposes of this project, I just used their total sales that they released in 2008, and that amounted to $22 million. And so then I did 10% of that. So our total marketing budget, or IMC budget, was 22.5 million. And then on the next slide, I showed how I allocated it. So to allocate our budget, I just used the figure on our textbooks, page 258, figure 7-22. And there I just kind of like used their allocation, sort of transferred it over to ours. But I just knew that I wanted TV and streaming and social media to make up a huge portion of our budget. So I made them each essentially over half of our budget. And then for the rest of the stuff, like a website, cross promotion, samples, I just kind of based this on the fact that we might spend a little less on these things. But overall, for streaming services, I allocated over $6 million. For the social media campaign, over $6 million, and then website, $2 million, samples, $3 million, cross promotions, $3 million. But yeah, so that's how we allocated it. We just wanted to put a really big emphasis on digital platforms, and we didn't even include newspapers or magazines because we just felt like these were kind of outdated ways to reach our target audience, and we just thought that younger men probably aren't really doing anything in print, so we did basically all digital. Yeah.
Okay, for the marketing strategy, Old Spice tends to reach out to young men from the age 18 to 24. So they have 3 big promotions that are 2 months long. Their biggest promotion is a campaign with the NFL where they run a bunch of commercials through the months of October and September. And this campaign tends to work really well because the audience for Old Spice are all young men watching NFL almost every weekend. So that really kicks off Old Spice and gets the ball rolling. They also run a promotion. It's a a coupon for $1 off a 2-pack of deodorant. So that really helps them sell a lot. And these campaigns continue even during those 6 months where they don't have a high frequency, where they just run like some of their older commercials and move on to other things. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay, so as you can see, I have the numbers for the percentage of reach and their frequency. Old Spice tends to have a high frequency and reach because they're in direct competition with Axe. So they're always in competition with Axe, and they're always having to continue to promote because Axe and them are pretty much the only ones in the game. So they just have to make sure they out advertise Axe. And we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so Old Spice has done a lot of research and surveys to understand how their customers responded to their advertisements. And it turns out that the best way for them to advertise is the sweet spot between 1 minute and 90 seconds, where people can grasp what's really going on with Old Spice without getting bored. And going back on a high frequency thing, they've really adopted the idea that more content for fans to consume means happier fans. So Old Spice attacked this idea by promoting as many commercials as possible and spreading them through all platforms. And that's it for that slide.
All right, so right here we have a flow chart, which basically starts out by talking about how we have to start our IMC plan by identifying markets, finding our market segmentation and positioning through the market. Our product decision is a high-end hygiene product, which we can market towards younger men in the 18 to 34 range. Our channel decision would be to sell in retail chains and pharmacies, gyms, boat clubs, and we could even sell in care packages the same way the Dollar Shave Club kind of does. Promotional decisions, we want to use creative advertising, displaying masculine images, activities. We will market through television and streaming services because of what Alex said earlier about how streaming services attract a lot of the younger audience, which is exactly who we're going after. We want to run customer loyalty and coupon promotions, as well as social media campaigns in order to attract a younger audience. And we even have cross-promotional advantages in terms of being able to market along with masculine perceived products. Our target market is men aged 18 to 34, income around 79K to 149K annually. And we're looking for married men who are looking for a high-end hygiene product, or even bachelors who are looking for a cheaper alternative to high-end hygiene products. So this is sort of a deconstructed creative brief. The objective of the campaign was mainly to develop a higher-end hygiene product in order to market to a younger audience and make it feel like more of a high-end experience for them. We also want to use quality materials in order to justify an increase in prices. The target market is 18 to 34-year-old men who make, as I said earlier, 79K to 149K yearly. The competitive analysis, benefits and promises. So we want to offer a cheaper alternative to high-end deodorant brands. We want to attract an older audience as well as a younger audience, because the older audience is where we're lacking at. And we want to use customer loyalty programs and social media campaigns to promote engagement with the younger audience of consumers, the 18 to 34-year-olds. Some of the unique selling points: in order to attract an older audience, we want to use the slogan, harness the aura of a silver panther. We also want to use the age-old slogan, smell like a man, which Old Spice has used for a long time now, in order to drive home the masculine, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart, selling point of our brand. And then we also want to use the slogan, be the captain of your own ship, because we have our nautical line, and we want to, well, as Alejandro stated earlier, Old Spice sort of started off as a colonial brand. They were big into boating and ships. And so be the captain of your own ship sort of goes hand in hand with the masculine points that we're trying to drive home. I also made a bit of a SWOT analysis for Old Spice. Some of the strengths of Old Spice are that they've already got an established line of masculine scents. They have a large market share. They have very strong brand recognition. Some of the weaknesses is that they come off as a cheap product sometimes. As you can see, they compete with brands like Axe. They're geared towards a specific target market, which is a youth-based market, which doesn't allow much leeway into older markets since they're looking for more higher-end hygiene products. Some of the opportunities we have as a brand is there's an older market that has no cheaper alternatives, which we could break into. We also have inroads into a lot of celebrity endorsements. As Alejandro stated earlier, Terry Crews used to be a celebrity endorser, as well as the former football player, I forgot his name. But we also have opportunities on the social media front, as Old Spice has a large social media following, and cross-promotional opportunities, as I mentioned earlier, with masculine brands. Some of the threats Old Spice faces as a company are competition in the older markets with higher-end products such as Baxter out of California. High-end brands already have an established market share in the older marketplace, and Axe and cheapest brands compete with Old Spice on a daily basis. So using the SWOT analysis, we kind of figured that Old Spice should use a SO competitive advantage, which means they should use their strengths in order to take advantage of their opportunities. And then these are the citations for our project. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch our presentation. Have a good one.
Thank you.